Hi guys, this is a list of 20 tips I wish I knew sooner before playing Citadelle Day More in Black Ops 6 Zombies. In the video, we'll be showcasing a way to get instant elite kills, which is so nice because they're so annoying on this map, and some side quests to get free stuff like free perks, free guns, and even free Pack-a-Punch crystals as well. So let's get started. To begin with, before you even load into the map, make sure you go into your research augments menu and select Vulture Aid. And we're going to want to research this because there's an augment for the new Vulture Aid perk called Carry On Luggage, which means that you're going to get extra salvage from critical kills. And salvage is hard to come by at the best of times in this game, so getting more salvage sooner is going to mean that you can get to gold rarity faster, and you're going to be much more powerful if you do so. Then, when you spawn into the map, you've probably already seen the process you have to go through to activate Pack-a-Punch, right? Where you turn the cannon around, and then you fire it at the castle doors, and then you proceed through and activate the PAP. But did you know that if you don't turn the cannon around, you can actually climb into the front of the cannon and use it to fast travel back to the spawn area? And there's another fast travel on the map as well, and that's just behind the Pack-a-Punch machine here. And if you use this, the cave slide will take you all the way back to where the Raven Sword Easter egg step is, also known as the area underneath the bar. Now, in the bar, did you know there's an Easter egg where you can actually be a bartender and get loads of points that way? And it's going to give us a free PhD flopper, which is really useful because PhD is not available from the machine on this map. It's only available via the Wonder Fizz, which will spawn in the upstairs area of the bar past round 25, and via this free PhD Easter egg, and with perkaholics and stuff as well. But let's bartend. The first thing we need to do is pick up 3 bottles around the map. The first one is in the Undercroft, and it's going to be next to a guy just laying out on the couch. He's just chilling, dude, and maybe we're grabbing his beer bottle. Sorry, buddy. The second beer bottle can be found just across from Stamina Up, and it's on this shelf just by the, I think, bottom rack. And the third beer bottle is near a couch again, but this time it's in the room with the 4 knights. So follow where I'm going in the gameplay here, and you'll find the bottle on the floor. So grab that, and once you've grabbed all 3 of those bottles, head back to the spawn area and come into the bar. Once you're in there, go behind the bar, and you'll see this little silver tray that you can interact with. Hold square on that, and this is gonna then basically turn you into a bartender. So what's gonna happen is a bunch of zombies are gonna spawn in, and you need to give them drinks according to their color. So each time you do so, it'll give you a bunch of points, and you just need to continuously do this for a couple of minutes, and you'll get a huge number of points from it. And then at the very end of it, once you've served all the zombies all their drinks, you'll get yourself your free PhD. Now, I mentioned you could also get PhD from a Gobblegum, right? It turns out that with Citadelle Day More, Treyarch have changed things a bit, so you now are going to spawn into the map with the first 3 Gobblegums in your Gobblegum pack. So if you want to guarantee that you've got specific gobbles when you spawn, just make sure that they're in those first 3 slots, and you'll have them every time you spawn in. Now, speaking of gobbles, there's one particular gobble that I think is really good for the end game of this map when you're in the Easter egg boss fight, and it's Idle Eyes. What that's going to do is it's going to mean that all the zombies in the boss fight stop attacking you because they're pretty much just frozen, and instead only the boss is going to continue to attack you, and it's really useful for getting a little bit of a breather and making sure that you don't down. So I'd really recommend having Idle Eyes somewhere in your pack if you intend to try the main quest. Next, another Gobblegum tip, but this one's not a recommendation, but it's actually a bit of a warning. So you might have been using the Wonder Bar Gobblegum on Terminus and Liberty Falls to get yourselves the Wonder Weapons so that you can do the Easter eggs much more quickly, right? But on Citadelle Day More, it works a little differently. You will not get the swords out of the box even if you use Wonder Bar. It just won't happen. You'll get yourself the ray gun, which is great if you want a guaranteed ray gun, but otherwise, it isn't going to be helpful for you. So I would only use Wonder Bar if you're a ray gun fiend, but otherwise, you're just going to want to build the swords as normal. And I've got a full guide for that linked in the corner of the screen right now and in the description down below. And we'll talk more about the swords in a moment, but first, I want to show you some other secrets. Next, there's a way to get a free weapon, and you can do this by playing as the Maya operator and then holding square on this little radio set past, I think it's like round 12 or so, when you start hearing a radio transmission, and then you can hold square on this door to get teleported into a secret area. Then, if you take out all the bugs in there, which is not as easy as it sounds, and you take out the ghasts that are inside, you'll then pop out into a cutscene on the other side, and after that cutscene plays, you'll get yourself a free weapon on the ground, and sometimes also free Casimirs and monkey bombs and stuff like that as well. Now, once you get through the end of that Easter egg, you might be finding that you're a little low on ammo, right? So let's talk about how to get a free max ammo. So if you come into the spawn area and and you just buy one singular door. You can shoot exactly where I'm shooting in the gameplay here, and if you do so correctly, you'll be able to get yourself a free max ammo. And there's also a free double points available as well. It's a similar situation. Come to where I'm standing just here and shoot exactly as I'm shooting, and you'll get yourself a free double points. We can also get a free full power, and that one's going to be in the vulture aid room. So again, copy where I'm standing in the gameplay here and shoot where I'm shooting, and you'll get yourself your free full power. Now, I mentioned we would come back to the swords. So the swords can be obtained by getting stamps past round 10 and then trading them in for the swords from the knights in the Vault Trade room. And I've got a full guide for how to build and upgrade them and all that good stuff, which I've already talked about. But I do want to share a couple of tips for the process of building and upgrading them, which you guys might not know about. So first of all, for the fire and dragon sword, you actually don't have to use the sword to light the bonfires that you're meant to light with the sword in order to get yourself the incantation. Instead, you can light those bonfires using Molotovs, which you can craft from the crafting bench just opposite the jug machine. And that means that you don't need to get all those zombie kills to charge up your fire sword before lighting the bonfires. A similar tip applies for when you're doing the elemental challenge for the fire sword towards the end of the Easter egg. And in that, you can also use Molotovs to get fire elemental kills, and that will charge the elemental orb there. And that'll mean that if you keep failing it, you can use mollies to just get yourself past that step a bit more easily. Also, if you're doing the lightning sword and you've just grabbed the horseshoe and shot yourself out of the cannon, you might find that you can't find your charged horseshoe, but all you've got to do is look for the storm up in the sky, and that's going to indicate where your charged horseshoe is going to drop. Now, speaking of the swords, they are fantastic when they've got their elemental upgrades. Like, I think they're really cool, but there is a way to make them even better, and it's actually outside the game, and it's back in the augments menu, and then you're going to look at Melee Macchiato's augments, and specifically, I would recommend this one here, because it's going to mean that you can backpedal really quickly once you get a melee attack landed, and I'd also recommend this one, which is going to mean that you heal while you're hacking and slashing with your sword, so it's going to give you so much more sustaining power while you're using the sword, and overall, I think is very, very worthwhile having enabled. Now, as you're running around the map doing all these things, you may notice these crates, and they'll be wriggling in a kind of suspicious way, or at least most of the time they seem to. These are actually free salvage crates, or they may contain parasites. So open them at your own peril, but definitely something that you should be looking out for if you're really trying to get max salvage sooner in your game. So if you use those crates to cover you on the salvage front, this next Easter egg is so good. Like, I wish I knew this when I was first starting this map, because it can get you not only free guns like we got from the Maya Easter egg, but it can also get you free perks, free points for sure, and a bunch of other potential free stuff. And it all starts with a cheese wheel. So first of all, in the spawn area, come and break this glass of this little shop, and you can then grab yourself your cheese wheel. Then go out of the right side of spawn and look for this little pizza truck, and you're going to need to prone, and you'll spook this rat here, and he'll scurry away from you. Then we're going to need to do this 2 more times. So the next one is going to be near stamina up. So come to the area I'm showing you here, and you'll be able to scare your second rat. And then the third one is going to be near quick revive. So come in there, and you might have a couple zombies in here that are kind of like a scripted spawn. They'll just be forced to spawn in there. So you can take those out, but then lie down where I'm lying down in the gameplay here, and that will scare your third rat. Then with that done, come to the pack-a-punch room and look for this plate surrounded by, maybe they're not rats, maybe they're 3 blind mice. I don't know. Either way, you're going to feed them with the cheese wheel. So place it down on the plate there, and you'll get all of your rewards. Next, this is something that you guys might kind of kick yourself when you hear, but you actually don't have to spam your trigger to swing your sword over and over again. You can just hold it down and it'll keep swinging. It's amazing. Next, did you know the swords actually show how charged they are on the blade itself? And I didn't notice this at first because it's quite a subtle effect, but basically as you charge it, you're going to get this glow effect that goes all the way up to the top of the blade. And when it's all the way up at the top, you know that it's charged and ready for you to use. But you'll also get a little sound cue once it becomes ready. And I believe it's always the sound of the animal the blade corresponds to. So it'll be either a lion, a raven, a dragon, or a stag. Now, another tip for the swords, which I think is incredible, but it's super slept on because everyone's just super obsessed with hacking and slashing with the swords and using the charged attacks, is actually a defensive maneuver instead of an offensive one. So when you have an amalgam spawn in, you're going to run away from it, and then when it gets close to you, it's going to try and do its suck attack on you. When this happens, if you're holding your sword, instead of attacking, you can use your left trigger to parry, and you can basically just spam it while you're getting sucked. And that's basically going to mean that you get sucked in. So you do get the kind of stun unlock of the suck itself, but you don't take any damage and you don't lose any armor from getting sucked. So it means that you can get sucked safely. And on top of that, Smart Guy has found that you can actually use this parry to parry the boss in the boss fight at the end of the Easter egg, making it even more powerful. Next, we've got the first of a couple of tips actually to take out special and elite enemies much more easily. So first of all, let's talk about the ghasts. These things are super annoying, they're extremely fast, and they will outrun you even if you have stamina up and your attack sprinting. But if you go over to an arsenal machine and you purchase this new ammo mod called Light Mend, it's going to be super effective on any ghasts that you're shooting at, and it's going to do a crazy amount of damage to them. And the nice thing about Light Mend is that it will spawn blobs on the floor as well, which will heal you if you run over them. So it's restoring you and it's absolutely shredding the ghasts. Now, a word of warning, if you do not want to be killing elites when you're playing Citadelle Day More, one of the things you need to do is make sure you take out the ghasts as fast as you can. This is because after a couple of minutes, they're going to turn into amalgams, and you really don't want that transformation to happen in front of you. Apart from if you're camo grinding, in which case, maybe you do want the extra elites. So use that should you desire to. But otherwise, if you want to take those elites down super quickly, I would recommend going over to one of the new traps in the map and using that on the amalgams, because it's going to give you infinite ammo and you're going to do more damage and it's going to stun the amalgams, and it's going to mean that it's super easy to take them down in seconds. So definitely give these eyeball traps a go in your game. But in addition to that, an even better or potentially faster way to take them down is using the electric incantations. So you can get this by doing the lightning upgrade quest, and then once you've got it, it will instantly kill amalgams and ghasts. It's incredibly powerful. It's just 3 ticks once you land your lightning on them, and boom, they've died. And the craziest thing about this is that these things regen during your round every round if you just run around the map and go to a different lightning station, and you'll get another one of them back every single round as well. So you have infinite uses basically of your insta-killing incantation. It's amazing. And now that you've got all these tips under your belt, I highly recommend giving the main quest Easter egg a try, and that is linked on the screen right now for you to click through to, and you can use all these shortcuts to get it done really quickly and beat the boss without any hassle at all. So good luck with it. I will see you there.